Good morning. Oh, it is cold today. Oh my goodness. My heater is almost blowing cold air with the hot air. Ridiculous. Like 8 degrees to minus 20 with wind chill. But the sun is shining. And I leave tomorrow, so all is good. All is good. I leave tomorrow. I'm getting my nails done today. I can't stand the way they look right now. All right, let's get started. Sorry, the heater's really loud this morning. It's working so hard to warm me up. It's not doing a very good job. Okay, so loosening up the spine, loosening up the hips. I slept, I don't know if I slept funny or if it's from the pulls we did yesterday. My neck is so stiff today. Anybody else feeling that? It could be the way I slept. Could be both. Who knows? I woke up so early this morning. I think I'm just so excited. I'm like a child. I can't sleep when I get excited. I'm like a child. I'm like, oh, so much to do. I feel like I've been getting ready for weeks, and yet I still have so much to do, always on the last day, right? I'm kind of at that point where I'm like, ah, forget it. If I forget something, buy it down there or live without. I'm so diligent and meticulous about my planning for the weeks, and then the week before, I just kind of throw it all, like, I don't care anymore. There's like all that last minute stuff. Like I have to get an oil change today. I mean, I have to get my nails done. Yesterday I got my eyelashes done. I gotta squeeze in some running. We're supposed to get a snowstorm tonight. Oh, winter. Anyways, enough about me. So, as we go through the first round of warm-up, remember that we start with low, no impact for the first round. Second round, we add a little bit of hopping to it, and then the third round, the idea is that you go as hard as you can and almost treat it like a cardio round. So that's the idea, but having said that, you can modify anything. So you can do this intensity for the whole warm-up. In fact, you can do this intensity for the whole workout, low, no impact. If you're new, if you're just starting, or even sometimes like you just have bad knees, or you're having a bad day, like modify the workout to suit your day. I know, like, we always want to put our best effort and best foot forward, so to speak, when we do things, but sometimes that mentality keeps us from doing anything. Like, it's almost like when we feel like I gotta do my very best, I gotta do all in, it's that or nothing. And if we're not into it, we do nothing. And so I really like to drive home the mentality of some or one is better than none. Just do something. Don't feel like everything always has to be executed in its entirety. I'm going to talk to Heather for a second because I'm training her for some running events. And this is how my mind works too. Like if I have a planned run and my plan is to do whatever it is that I'm planning to do, and I can't get myself to do it, it's way better if I can just get myself to start it and tell myself do 25% of it. Like if I'm supposed to do an hour, like go do 15 minutes. If you get out there and do 15 minutes, more than likely you're going to do more than 15 minutes. You might even end up completing the entire workout and surprising yourself. But worst case, if you only do those 15 minutes, you come back and you say, hey, I didn't completely bail and quit on myself. And I think that is a really great way to, A, continue moving towards your goal and continue to put deposits into the results you're after. But I also think it builds confidence, and it builds character, and it lifts character. Like, so it develops character. That's what I'm trying to say. I kind of said that already. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is it makes you, subconsciously you are left with a feeling of pride in yourself versus a feeling of disappointment, because even if you've rationalized that it's okay for you to have skipped whatever it was that you skipped, deep down, you might be telling yourself, yeah, it was completely warranted because of it was really windy out, or it was really cold, or you didn't feel good, you're really tired. But we always feel subconsciously, deep down, a little bit disappointed in ourselves. And that sort of takes up roots, right? It plants roots in our, I'm pointing down here because I think of it as deep, deep down, but in our deep subconscious, how we feel about ourselves, how we think about ourselves. And then that translates to how we move about the world, right? It translates into your posture. It translates into your belief in yourself. It translates into your next workout, right? You think, oh, I skipped that one, I can just make it up on the next one. You can't make up lack of character or lack of discipline. You can't make that up on the next workout, right? You can't make that up. The only way you can really make that up is by exercising character and future choices and being consistent about that. But when you consistently do the opposite, you're consistently watering and fertilizing those roots of like disappointment that you've built in yourself, right? And so, I don't know where that rant came from, but I'm just talking to myself as much as you guys. You guys know when I babble away out here that I'm talking to myself. Giving my own self heck. Because every day is a battle in my mind, honestly, you know. I'm never going to say, oh, I can't wait to work out every day. It's like the best part of my whole day. No, it's something that I exercise discipline in doing because I know the benefits of it. I know it builds my character. I know that I'm watering the right seeds by doing the things that I know I need to do, that I know I should be doing, and being consistent with that. But I have both. I have weeds and flowers growing in my subconscious, just like everybody else, right? And the weeds, you don't even have to water those. You don't have to give them any fertilizer. Those weeds will grow without any help, right? That's a great kind of thought process. Reflecting back on what we were talking about yesterday, which was moving about the world with intention and control of your thoughts versus letting them just run wild. And so that's a great analogy to think of as like a garden. If you fail to tend to your garden, I have a little sub-thought on this one. You plant your garden, right, and then you neglect to tend to it daily, right? Check in on it, weed it, water it when it needs it, check out what it needs, right? You don't tend to your garden, what happens? Weeds grow. With no attention whatsoever, right? No effort whatsoever, weeds will grow like crazy. And that's like our minds. With no intention, no attention, and no, I'm trying to think of the word. And it's basically the same. No attention to your thoughts, you're growing weeds, right? Those weeds can grow depending on who you hang around and what influences you allow, right? So whether it be social media, whether it be the news, whether it be the people that you talk to, you converse with, right? Your weeds can become like, I'm trying to think of that crazy weed. There's one in the forest, dog something. I can't think of the name of it. I just remember it's dog, I don't know why. Dog strangler? Something like that. Anyway, takes over everything, right? My mom's a landscape designer. She would be popping out like names right now like nobody's business, right? Now, Here's a side thought. You have a garden. You know you don't like to garden. You know you don't want to spend a lot of time tending to that garden. What do? You plant it strategically with plants that don't require a lot of attention. So if you monitor who you're around, right, like, what's the word? Oh gosh, I can't talk to you. Filter your influences, choose your thinking and filter, and be aware of when it's going off. You just prune a little bit and you're good. Like, you know, if you plant, oh my gosh, like shrubs, right? Shrubs that don't take over the garden. How's everyone doing? Hey, Kim. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Kim and Buddy. All right. Another quick drink. We're doing cardio. We're not. We're doing a mishmash of things today. I have some ideas of what I want to do today. We're going to start with our push-ups and sit-ups. So let's do, I don't like doing these via tabata because we don't get very many reps in. So I'm going to say let's do 20, like 10 of each, 10 of each. Remember, you can modify both the you can modify sit-ups to crunches. You can modify push-ups by doing them on the wall if you're not so good with push-ups, with which I was talking to Yvonne yesterday, and it's very common for women to not be good at push-ups. It has to do with our center of gravity, where our strength is physically, right? Tend to carry strength down here, not up here. Unlike me, I'm the anomaly because I'm built like a linebacker. Like, I have big shoulders and narrow hips. I'm built like a teenage boy. But anyway, okay. So 10 sit-ups to start, or crunches. I'm trying to remember. I did a video today, TikTok today, 7 about inability to remember when you're in your middle-aged years. Oh, so fabulous. Okay, 10 push-ups. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going to do 10 more of each. So anyways, think about your mind. Like, I read this on a quote somewhere about the mind being like a garden. And I can feel when my mind is becoming riddled with weeds. I would say the last couple of weeks, some weeds started to grow in my mind. 4, 3, 2. Here's another great analogy, right? Like, some weeds look like flowers. I don't know if you remember, I'm sure you remember when your kids are little, and I did this too. You think weeds are just beautiful, and you pick them and give them to your mom. My mom's like, ew. Like, not actually, she didn't actually say ew, but, you know, I could read her body language and her facial expressions. Oh, honey, these are weeds. These aren't flowers, right? How often do we get duped? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Right? And it's like the most powerful thing, change in life, is to be able to recognize the difference between weeds and plants. And that, I think, is something that's changed for me over the last couple years. Like, I immediately can feel the weeds growing in my mind, and it's like an alarm goes off. Okay, we're doing side step-ups today. We're going to step up to the side today. We're going to alternate sides. So you can use a step, like stairs in your house. You can use, if you have like a step from step aerobics. I think we're all old enough here that we probably did step aerobics back in the day. Did you guys do them? I used to teach step aerobics. Okay, ready? Going. That's how I actually got into fitness instruction. Is in high school I used to teach step aerobics. I used to teach the Reebok routine. Ooh, these feel good. I mean, bad but good. So the ability to recognize when your mind is starting to go off into a place where it's not really feeling too great is something not everybody has. You watch people spiral. In fact, I had some conversations this week with people who were just disgruntled, I guess, about something. And my kids do this too. As they're telling me what they're disgruntled about, I'm like, that doesn't really sound like A, true, and B, something that warrants this level of, I don't know, disgruntledness. It's not a word, pretty sure. And you realize that's not why they're contrary at all. It's because of, this other series of things. This just happened to set them off, right? It's like when you're really foul and contrary and you're driving, or your husband comes home and leaves his shoes in front of the door again. And they're size 15, and you can't open the door because they literally block the whole mat. It's like flying off the handle with that. Well, yes, I don't like that. It's not really worth getting super upset about, right? That kind of thing. So, I mean, I noticed the last couple of weeks, just with the world, really starting to feel frustrated and realizing these frustrations are irrelevant, right? They're not in my control. They're not in my power. They're not even really affecting me to a point where they're not really affecting my day-to-day life, right? Really, a lot of things that we get upset about, I don't know, maybe it's just me, are things that really don't impact our life when we think about it, right? Like really, like your day-to-day, like, what impacts your life from when you get up to when you go to bed at night? Well, the people, right? How you choose to spend your time, right? How do you eat and look after yourself? And then what do you read about, right? So like if you completely shut out like the outside world, right? Like the news, social media. I would never shut out social media because I think social media can be an incredibly powerful gift, but it can be the dog strangler of weeds, right? Like, whew, this is my bad ankle. But let's just say for a second you shut out everything outside of your four walls, right? I work from home. I think you kind of do that. You might not. You might actually have to go to a workplace. So you can't shut that out. But let's just say for a second you could. Like, let's say we're back in lockdown. You didn't leave your house, so you don't really know what's happening out in the world. Like, that's your life, right? So, what do you eat? What do you drink? How do you move your body? How do you spend your time all day? What do you consume? What are you reading about? What are you learning about? How are you developing yourself, right? That's what matters day to day, right? Like, what is happening somewhere not nearby you? I'm not saying you shouldn't be aware of things. I'm not saying you shouldn't, educate yourself on what's going on in the world, but I'm just saying a lot of what happens, for me anyway, that I let myself get stuck in, doesn't impact me. Okay, so the next one we're going to do a cardio one, then we're going to go back and do a legs one.
Activity completed.
Dawn is not with us. I'm planning on it being the same. There may be some adjustments. I'm gonna have to sort of pay around our TH Jacks, because I love them. My plan is for the classes to stay the same. Now there's gonna be times, I'm having a hard time committing to new things right now because I don't know what my schedule is gonna be like because I'm on holiday and I'm moving around and you know, you fall into a different routine. I may need to move them earlier because it's hot too. And I have to run as well. I have to fit in running. So I could just run first. Anyways, my plan hopefully is to keep them the same. Planking for continuity. But I will post in the group if I'm going to change the time. And you guys can always just do them at this time. Like, they'll always be in the group. So if I do it for some reason at 6:30 a.m. one day, which is very unlikely, you can just do it at 9:15. Just pretend I'm just right there with you. You don't need to know the difference. My plan, my hope, is to do a lot of training, running and running-wise. The first week, I don't have a lot of plans that week. My family joins me during March break, so far, my two boys are coming. We booked their flights yesterday. Betty, who are you flying with? Are you flying from Toronto? Are you flying Air Canada? Or like, are you flying from Toronto down? So my two boys, and then my sisters are coming, so everybody's kind of coming March break. I cannot wait to do workouts outside. Like, I'm so excited. Everywhere I'm staying, there's one place that I'm staying, but it's on the weekends, so it won't matter. I have really awesome grounds to do these on. So, that's exciting. I'm just, it's funny because my cough, I keep blaming, like a child, I keep blaming it on the winter, the cold. And I really do think, because I had this cough a couple years ago from the cold. I think it was triggered by COVID, and I think I actually had COVID a couple years ago, but it was the beginning of 2020, so we didn't really, we weren't really talking about it then. I don't know how I would have gotten it other than I worked at a retail store then, and my boss, his wife, was a doctor, and she may have been exposed because he was sick, she was sick, and then I got sick, and I was like sicker than I've ever been in my probably whole life, other than when I had mono when I was in high school. I had this cough like till March. I went to Florida that year. That was the last year that I went. In March, a couple years ago, and it went away. So interestingly, yesterday was around 8 degrees. No, the day before. I didn't really feel the cough all that much, and then today, it kind of came back with a vengeance, so we'll see. Anyways, I'm really looking forward to bringing you all some outdoor workouts from where I'm at. The next week might be tricky. I'm just thinking, no, I think it'll be fine. Just trying to remember where I am each day. I'm going to visit my mom first. She's in Sea Pines in Hilton Head. Going for her birthday. Her birthday's on Monday. And then Tuesday we head. So yeah, Tuesday I'll be coming to you from Hilton Head Island, which is super exciting. So nice there. Wednesday I'll be coming to you from Disney Springs area. That one's going to be a bit trickier. All right, here we go. So we're doing 747. So you can do these with or without the weight. I want you to make sure that chest is open, and I want you to make sure that you are, holy moly, these feel good today. Wow. I want you to make sure that you are, as I fall over, hinging, not bending. So some of you might crush these, like my daughter does these so easily. And you know, people in my classes, when I used to teach them in real life, used to crush these. I struggled with back and hip arthritis, pain, I don't know, I call it arthritis, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I could not do this to save my life. Like, I can't even tell you how bad I was at this. Like, I'm actually really impressed with myself right now. This is the best I think I've ever done these. Which is a surprise, because I haven't been doing anything. It's my liquid gold, I'm telling you. See, the funny thing is, a lot of our strength and power comes from our glutes, comes from our butts. And what can tend to happen, I do this, I don't use my glutes. We don't use our glutes. Sometimes it's from, other leg. Sometimes it's from sitting too much, like too much sitting all day, driving, woo. But we just kind of, our butt muscles kind of go dormant. They just aren't doing the job. And even when I run, I can feel, I don't use these big muscles up here. I tend to use my calves and my feet. Probably kind of muscles from here down. When you tap into your core and your glutes, your butt muscles, you can feel the difference, and you feel this sense of power and strength that you're like, whoa, where did that come from? And you feel mobility. I don't know if anybody can relate to what I'm saying right now, but I'm 46. When I run, I feel stiff. Like I feel locked up almost. I watch, oh my gosh, my 12-year-old run, and he runs like my sister says he runs like a wet noodle. Like, yeah, he does. We hold, I think too, like we tend to hold tension in our body, and that keeps us from being loose. It's kind of back to that whole concept of let versus force. But when you actually can tap into those muscles, you feel really different, and it feels really good. Like it feels almost just powerful but effortless at the same time. And so to activate those glute muscles is really beneficial, even if you're not a runner, even if doesn't matter what you do, because they're power. Your glutes and your core are the power packs. This is where your strength comes from. Like without them, you're using, it's kind of like using, this is like a terrible, terrible analogy, but like there's batteries that are way more powerful than other batteries. So like, you know how you put some batteries in a flashlight, and the flashlight dies like an hour later, and then you put these super batteries in, and you know, whatever, your flashlight lasts way longer. Like it's kind of like that. Oh, clean and bad analogies here, but, and so when you have the bad batteries in, you're using like these muscles, your calves, your feet, you feel like you're dragging, like you feel like that weak battery, and then when you tap into that powerful battery, your core and your glutes, your hip flexors are loose, you're like, whoa, who am I right now? I felt that a little bit the other day. I was running and I was like, oh, and then I go back to just stiffness, right? Like if your feet are tense and stiff, it tends to make everything. You carry that tension all up your body. Okay, we're going back to core and cardio. So we're gonna do mountain climbers, and I want to do boat this time. Okay, let's go. So Mountain climbers, again, you can run them if you want to get your heart rate up, or you can step them, whatever is best for you. And if you're new and you need to modify, you can do them standing, just lifting your knees, kind of like high marches, high knee marches. There's no right or wrong, other than what's best for you is what's right. So we're holding boat, some of you probably do yoga. Some of us need to do yoga. I think I've decided to incorporate a little bit of stretching in yoga, hopefully in March, and loosen up this body of mine. I don't know if you find this, Dawn, or anybody who's outside in the winter, that you carry, Kathy and I talk about this sometimes, that you carry all this tension from being out in the cold, like you just have this rigid sort of-ness about your posture of your body from, you know, resisting the cold. I mean, I do. I don't know if anyone else does, but. Make sure that back is pressed in, belly button's pulled in. Again, for that one, if you need to decrease difficulty, you can lift your legs. Woo! Feeling that core. So back is pressed in, belly button's pressed in. Again, you can lift your legs to make it easier, lower your legs to make it harder. You can raise your arms if you want to make it even harder. Not feeling that today. Trying to decide what weights to take with me. Last set of these. Woo! After this one, we're going to add another set of 20 of our push-ups and sit-ups. Oh my God, these are really getting to me today. Woo! If you flap your hands, it makes it easier. Okay, let's do a set. Just sit-ups and push-ups. Spring is coming. You guys, it's going to come like this, and I want to applaud you all for getting ahead of it, right? Three, 4, 5. Remember, you can do crunches. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 push-ups. So back to like what we were talking about before. Remember we were talking about showing up for yourself whether you want to or not. 10 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. The iron will, that's kind of what that's all about. And I love what Heather said the other day, how she's like, oh, nobody's going to know if I just don't do them. And I've totally thought that before. It's like, oh, nobody's going to know. Nobody's tracking. The thing is, you can't hide from yourself. One of my favorite lines ever that I heard from a mentor is like, everywhere you go, there you are. And his reference for that was like when people are always having issues, but it's like always someone else's fault. And his line was always like, have you ever noticed that everywhere you go, there you are? So in other words, it might be you, not everybody else. 5, 4, it's like one of my favorite sayings ever. 3, 2. Anyway, so you can't hide from yourself. Like, it doesn't matter that nobody else knows that you skipped it. You can't, you know. You know that you didn't do it. So, and Heather said, like, it's not worth it. It takes, like, not even 5 minutes. It doesn't even take 5 minutes to do core and then 30-second plank. And it's like, really, there's no excuse. Like, there's literally no excuse. Like, there's never, oh, I don't have time, or I'm too tired. And the only excuse ever is, like, if you're in a coma, or maybe you broke your back. 2, 3, you broke your shoulder. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, even when I sprained my ankle, like, there was stuff that I could have done. Okay, we're going to do glute bridges next, and we're going to do singles. So, alternating sides. There's no excuse. And that's the idea, is that, okay, the test, the iron will, the test is you against you, and you keep the power and the true growth from completing the iron will challenge. Last year we called it the Grand Slam, is in the moment where the decision has to be made, am I doing this today or not? When there's no reason not to, because almost never is there a reason not to. Even when I sprained my ankle, I could have done something. Do you do it or do you not do it? Right? And how that translates to you is your confidence and belief in yourself. And I was reading through some stuff this morning. One of my mentors said, if you are finding that a lot of people are judging you or criticizing you, or essentially that's a reflection of what you are currently thinking about yourself. I think everything that we see in the world, our perceptions, and whatever it is, our thoughts are really a reflection of what we think about ourselves. So that's interesting to me, because how you think about yourself is so powerful with regards to how you show up for others, how you show up in the world, right? Like, this is a chat I need to have with one of my clients. Your results are so directly linked to your thoughts about yourself in so many ways. You will see all around you, in others, what you see in yourself, which is really interesting, right? So you change the way you see yourself, all of a sudden the whole world changes. But the world didn't change, it's still the same, it's just you see it through a different lens, right? Like, that's really cool to me. And you can literally change your circumstances and results by just changing your mind. Just deciding and changing your mind. Anything that you don't like, you just change your mind. If I don't like how cold it is out today, I just change my mind and say, hey, I'm really happy that it's sunny. I'm not saying it's easy. If it was easy, we would all be happy and joyful and get along and creative and productive and skinny and rich and fit, kind. Our minds are so complicated, hey? Like, Bob Proctor used to always say, like, that is literally what differentiates us from every other creature on the planet, is our mind and our creative faculties that we have. Our creative faculties like imagination and I want to say vision is one. What's the word? It starts with an R. Reason, will. There's 6 of them. Reason, will, imagination. That's all I can think of right now. I feel like vision's one of them, but I'm not sure. I think that was it. Alright. I would like to, if we have time for half of one more, I want to do side plank lifts. I like doing those in tabata. So we're going to do 3 of each. We got to do push-ups and sit-ups. Hang on. Okay, 20. So 10. We're going to do 10. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10 push-ups. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Activity
1.
completed.
Okay, let's bang out a couple side plank lifts. Okay, lift, lift. So you can make these easier by taking that top foot and putting it in front like this. You can just hold like side plank, or you can do the lifts like me. Make sure your body is nice and straight, spine is long. Other side, we're going to do a couple sets and then we'll finish with one more set of 10 sit-ups, 10 push-ups. You can hear my back cracking on this one. Just on this side, interesting. So I'm leaving tomorrow, just talking to Kathy. We were saying, just me and my youngest, me and my 12-year-old. I'm not one of those moms who likes to play with my kids. Like, I don't play in the pool. I actually don't even go in the pool. It has to be really, really hot for me to go in the pool. I'm not very fun. I've always said I'm not fun. Fun is not my thing. Anyway, I went away for a month. Much of it, just me and him. So I'm like curious what that's gonna look like in terms of, you know, usually he's the youngest of 4, so he usually has siblings around to play with, do stuff with. I mean, they're older obviously, but you know, usually the boys will all go play basketball. They go do things, right? So it should be interesting to see. Okay, we're gonna call it there. Let's just finish with 10 sit-ups, 10 push-ups. So I don't know, maybe he's going to be super bored with me. He is an old soul. And he also was alone with me for several years at home before he started school, because all the other kids were in school. So it's not like but we have our entire drive down to 2 of us. One more. Okay, and 10 push-ups and we're done. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work. Thanks for joining me. I will see you next week from the south, in the sun, in the warmth, and the grass. I can't wait. Have an awesome weekend. See you soon.